We had beached our boat on an uninhabited island off the coast of Mexico. There were three of us. Liz Brenner, whom I had known for a long time, Stan Brenner, her husband, whom I hardly knew, and myself, Mike Nelson. The Brenners had invited me to join them on their expedition. It was to explore an Aztec ceremonial pool on the island.
Come on, let's go.
How about lunch first?
Well, later. We only have half a day left.
It doesn't include lunch?
Well, sure, but let's check out the pool first. That's what we came for.
Partly, and we came here to relax and enjoy ourselves, too.
All right, you two stay here and enjoy yourselves. I'll go find a little something for you in that pool. Maybe a priceless relic.
Mike, do you think a priceless relic can replace a husband?
No, but it's nice to think that you might end up with both.
Or neither one? Mike, don't be uncomfortable with me. We know each other too well for that. And besides, maybe you can help me.
Ah.
Stan has become obsessed. Obsessed with the idea of racing to do everything. Everything there is to do, never stopping. He doesn't even stop long enough to think or remember that he's married. What makes a man act that way, Mike?
Depends on the man. I don't know your husband that well. I mean, well enough to know how he ticks. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, too. Very sorry. Mike? Mike, how far away are we from the nearest island? I mean, from the nearest line of communication.
About 15 miles. Why, you nervous?
No. No, not at all. As a matter of fact, I'm very, very happy.
Good. Don't mind if I leave you alone for a while, no?
No.
Thought you'd like some company. Might be more than Aztec relics down there.
Nope.
What do you mean?
No company. Not on this dive. I want to be the first man in that pool.
When you decide to go it alone?
Just now, when I saw it.
Any particular reason?
Yes.
You mind telling me what it is?
Yes, Nelson. As a matter of fact, I do.
If he ever tells you why about anything, let me know, will you, Mike?
His world moves pretty fast, doesn't it?
Yeah, too fast to get off. But I think I've found a way to stop it, or at least slow it down.
Yeah? Well, I'm gonna stop him right now.
My gear's back on the beach. Wait, and I'll go with you.
No. I want to check that pool out first myself.
Okay, well, I'll be here when you get back.
Okay. I was right. We weren't the only form of life in that pool. Attacking a dangerous water snake with a knife was ridiculous. Against Stan's judgment, I held him, and me, motionless. The snake seemed to change Stan's mind about having company. We went on together. Stan spotted a small opening deep down in the pool. We could make out some kind of man-made object below the opening. I didn't think a diver could get through the opening. I was right. Suddenly, he slumped. He seemed to be losing consciousness. I had no idea what was wrong with him. Whatever it was, though, I'd have to get him to the surface as quickly as I could.
Mike, what is it?
He passed out down there. I don't know what it is yet.
Stan.
Just rest for a while, huh? Here, lie back, boy. Here, take it easy, huh? Can you tell us what happened down there?
It's lunchtime again, huh? Okay. Why not? But not here. Back at the boat.
Just rest for a while. Come on, lie down here. You had a little trouble down there.
Is that right?
That's right.
Oh, you get yourself in trouble, you gotta get yourself out of trouble.
Will you lie back? Take it easy. Here, come on.
Now leave me alone, will you? Both of you. I'll be all right. I'll be all right just as soon as I get back to the boat.
Just
Now
rest.
leave me alone, will you? Both of you.
Mike, why is he talking that way? What's wrong with him?
Sam, boy, what is it, huh? Why the boat? What's on the boat?
Elizabeth.
Does he have diabetes?
Why would you ask that?
I've seen people act this way when they need insulin. Stan.
Huh?
Huh? Is that what you want? Is that what you need? Insulin?
Yeah,
Huh? Insulin?
Insulin.
Where's he keep it? Tell me, you want him to die?
I don't know. Mike! Mike, the boat, it's...
Yes, what?
I sank it, Mike. I sank the boat.
You sank the boat.
I didn't know he had diabetes. I only wanted time for Stan to stop. Time for us to find ourselves again. Only a few hours or maybe even a day.
You stay here with him, huh? I'll be right back. With the insulin. Stan Brenner's life depended on my finding that boat, and there was no way of knowing how long it would take. I decided to rake the bottom, using a rope and working in a fanning motion. The ocean floor dropped off at a steep angle. My search would have to be done in deep water. If I had to spend any amount of time down there, I'd have to allow precious minutes for recompression on the way up. I started the fanning motion, staying close to the ocean floor. The rope had snagged something. I followed along it and saw the boat. I was about 150 feet deep. My air would soon be used up, and I could stay down no more than 5 minutes without having to recompress on the way up. Suddenly, I realized I didn't have any exact idea about where to spend those 5 minutes searching for the insulin kit. There it was, the kit, and none too soon. My bottom time was gone.
You got it, Mike? Thank God. Can I help?
Has he been out all the time?
Yes. It's been perfectly quiet.
That should do it.
What's the matter, Mike?
40 units.
It's not enough?
Read it.
Average dose for one day. That's all we've got. We gotta get help within the next 12 hours. The radio. It's the only way. The boat radio.
It's been underwater. It won't work.
It's a transistor type. It might work.
Be careful, Stan.
I'm okay, Liz. I passed out, huh? Tired, I guess. Let's get back to the boat.
There's no rush now. You just rest here for a while, huh?
Where'd you get this?
You told us. That's good, huh? Otherwise, we wouldn't have known.
Well, you don't have to know. It's none of your business. Or yours. I mean it, Liz. Come on, let's go.
The boat. It tore loose from its moorings. It's gone.
It's gone.
Yeah, now don't you worry. I'll get the radio. We'll get off this island in no time.
The boat's gone.
No, not gone, Stan. Sunk. I sank it deliberately. I opened the petcocks and set it adrift. I was worried about us, Stan, because it wasn't us anymore, and I wanted that again for your sake as well as mine. I wanted you to stop and think.
Don't play with my life. Don't ever play with my life again. You helped her?
No, but I wish I could have. I understand why she did it.
You understand someone deliberately sinking a boat? Deliberately stranding us?
She's not just someone, she's your wife. And she did it because she wants to go on being your wife, despite the fact that you're making it practically impossible for her. And as for being stranded, you were stranded before you hit this island. Hey, where do you think you're going?
I'm with you.
Oh, no, you're not.
Yes, I am, Mike. I know the dive for that radio's going to be rough, and, well, anyway, I've made up my mind.
You have? Mm-hmm. Well, okay, in that case, I can use some help.
How rough was the dive for that insulin? Insulin. That's what I said, Stan, and get used to it because you'll hear it lots more. I don't think it's such a terrible word. As a matter of fact, I'm very grateful for it, and I think you should be too.
Liz.
Brief me, Mike.
It's gonna be a deep one for you, Liz. 150 feet.
How much time do you have once we get there?
5 minutes, maximum.
My job?
Now you better get the area. You better use a wrench, too, huh? The
Yeah?
tools are in the boat locker. I'll get the radio.
We had 5 minutes to make the recovery, if our air supply held out. Both jobs were simple. Freeing the radio involved removing several panel bolts, then lifting it out. The aerial could be removed with a wrench. Both jobs would require at least a few minutes. That was all we had. And it's not easy to work at that depth. I knew that my air was practically gone. There were seconds left. Fortunately, it was all we needed. Then my air was gone. The reserve, too. I shared Liz's air supply. We had the equipment. Now to see what the salt water had done to it.
How soon, Mike? How soon after we send the signal could a plane be here?
Well, I'd say within an hour. We're lucky these batteries were sealed. As soon as it dries off, we'll be in.
Mike, I'm gonna go find Stan and tell him.
Okay.
Mike, I can't find Stan and his gear's gone. You don't think...
Oh, that's empty. Grab my mask, my pin. Get my hood, too, yeah.
I had a hunch exactly where I could find Stan Brenner in that pool. Right in the tight spot above the object that we had seen. He was exactly where I'd figured. Once again, he'd managed to strand himself. In more ways than one. Stan had the relic he wanted. I was still wondering if he'd gotten anything more valuable on the trip.
Mike told me about the radio. We're in business again, huh?
We're in business. You decided to make another dive, Stan. To get what you came for?
No. To keep a promise.
Here. Here's your promise.
Stan, it's marvelous.
I don't know how priceless it is.
I do. At least it is to me.
Mike, where are you going?
Gonna make that radio call.
Never mind, I'll do it. I want to put in an order for a little something called insulin.
I'll be back next week at the same time with another sea hunt story. Plan to be with us again, huh?
was an ice cream cone of a day. Like a kid, I wanted it to last forever. Nice or not, this day wasn't going to last much longer for me, unless I did something about that boat. Luckily, she wasn't moving much faster than I was. I was all set to give her skipper what for, loud and clear. Only there wasn't any skipper. The bathing beauty wasn't steering, that was for sure. What was the answer?
I'll be glad to. Where is he?
I'll get him for you.
Why did you do it, Linda? Why? You know what a chore this diving is for me. Into the water, out of the water, into the water, out of... Oh, what for? For what? Why?
He wants you to stop trying to run him down.
What do you mean? What do you mean? I'm conducting an experiment, a scientific experiment, an experiment of the greatest potential importance.
Is running me down a part of your experiment?
Well, didn't expect any boats in this area. Wouldn't have been testing here otherwise. Discovery's still secret. Don't suppose you know what I'm talking about, though?
No, but I do know that you've been steering that boat from underwater. That's a control setup you got there. Your receiver is probably in your cabin.
What's your name? What do you do?
Mike Nelson. I'm a professional diver. And incidentally, I do a little experimenting myself once in a while.
Name's Kelway. Kendrick Kelway. She's my sister, Linda. Interesting, Nelson. Very interesting. Very worth checking into. If it stands up, you'll hear from me.
Why? What for?
I need help. Takes too much out of me. Into the water, out of the water, into the water.
They say he's a genius.
They do, huh? What do they say about his sister?
Nothing.
Well, that's the luck.
Frankly, I never expected to hear from Kendrick Kelway again. A week later, though, I was working with him in Nassau. Working hard. In a mansion, as it turned out, not a laboratory. Kelway wasn't just a genius. He was a Kelway. His millions had millions of their own.
What is it, Mike? What is it? What? Can't read my handwriting?
No, I learned how to decipher that by now. But if this means what it says, the diver would have to remain below with that control device for at least 12 hours.
Oh, impossible. Out of the question. It can't be considered for a moment. The top sheet is missing. I didn't think I could make such a miscalculation. Oh, here it is.
Oh, there. The device remains below, not the diver. You're going to transform into a homing device, huh?
Simple, low cost, effective.
Take a great deal of work on the receiver especially, but worth it. Ready to try?
That's what I'm here for. Oh, this is the receiver, huh?
Yes. You're the first one's ever seen it. Oh, except Linda, of course. Now, the problem is here, Mike, in the differential.
Ken, may we take the boat? Hello, Mike.
Hi.
May we? I see you removed the unit thing.
Yes, I did. Hello, boys. This is Mike Nelson.
Heard of him. We dive some, too. I'm Buck Taggart.
Dan Candidate.
Hi, Dan.
May we take it, the boat?
Oh, surely. Just don't be gone all day. I'll want to install the unit again for further tests.
It's quite a gizmo. You don't mind, do you?
Hey.
Well, easy there.
I thought I'd wait a lot more.
Why, because it's worth so much? I know the way his little mind works. It's the same as mine. How much is it worth, Ken? 9 or 10 million?
More than that, I hope. But I'll sell it to the government for $1. $1.
$1? Buck. Linda, let's get out of here. This guy's dangerous. We'll see you later.
Let's
go.
Listen, you want me to drive or you see?
Oh, maybe Calway was a genius at that. It took him just a few days to transform the receiver in the control unit. Then we had tested it in a lagoon where no harm would be done if it didn't work. Now we were ready for the next step, a test out at sea near some reefs where the boat could be damaged or sunk. What I was looking for was the place to plant the control device. A well-charted, dangerous passageway through the reef. If the device functioned perfectly, the boat would make its way through unscathed. If the guidance were off by even a fraction of a degree, the cruiser would smash into one side of the channel or the other. Yeah, this was the place, all right. The boat would have no trouble at all piling up here. I just hoped that Ken would remember to set the engine speed at a minimum and be ready to take over personally just in case. On time, on course so far, and at the right speed. She'd made it through the passage, all the way through, without a scratch. We were in business now, at least for craft this size.
Hey, you're free, Ken. Take over.
Another good day. A good day's work indeed, Mike. A day to feel very good about indeed. I hope you do.
I do. Indeed, I do.
You need some time off. That's what you need, time off. You've been working hard, very hard.
You're the one that's been working hard.
Nonsense. I feel great. Just great.
Fun in the sun, anyone?
Yes. Mike will join you.
Oh, I'd love to, but, well, you'll be needing me, won't you?
Oh, really, I won't need you. I won't. I won't need you for 2 or 3 days.
Because your experiment worked? Or didn't work, which?
Oh, it worked. It worked perfectly. The device guided the boat through the reef like a dream.
Congratulations. Mike, then you'll join me.
Why the layoff, Ken?
Well, I need time to find a boat. A big boat. A boat big enough to prove that my device will work on Coast Guard and Navy vessels. It'll take a few days to get one. I'll let you know.
Mike?
Lead me to your son.
I've been underwater too long. People are more fun than anybody. Linda and I sure proved it the next 3 days. We did Nassau. First by sports car. And then by carriage along the docks for shopping and sightseeing. We had water all around us. And we got into it, too. Topside and down below. Linda was a fine swimmer. I didn't have anything to complain about when it came to water skiing, either. Come to think of it, I had nothing to complain about at all. For the first time in years, I had spent 3 wonderful days having nothing but fun. I didn't want it ever to come to an end. Luckily for me, Linda was operating in the same wavelengths.
As a playgirl, you're getting to be quite a diver.
I still get water in my lungs.
Hey,
Does the hard-working diver like the frivolous playgirl?
you know it.
Do I? No, I do. I may have to be reminded again after lunch.
Let's just skip lunch, shall we?
WM 2050, Mike Nelson, this is Dr. Kelway. Over. WM 2050, Mike Nelson, this is Dr. Kelway. Over.
Yeah. This is WM2050, Mike Nelson. What is it, Ken? Over.
I did it. I went and did it. I can't figure out why. What went wrong? It was working so perfectly.
All right, now take it easy. What'd you do? Over.
Well, I bought a boat, I bought a boat, a converted PT boat, and I installed the unit and took it out to the reef, and it didn't work. It should have. The underwater control device is good for a year.
Oh, we'll fix it up and try it again.
Not this boat. This boat's on the reef. I am shipwrecked.
Rescuing Ken Calway from the converted PT boat and getting him over to my cruiser wasn't much of a problem. The way he carried on, though, you'd think his underwater control device had insulted him by not working right. That had never happened before, Linda said. His inventions didn't dare to fail.
No excuse for it. No excuse. No reason for malfunction. I checked and double-checked it myself.
It's been down there for days. Maybe it just got wet and stopped.
Linda, the unit I put in, it's a self-power unit. It's good for a year. No right to stop. No right at all.
Simmer down now, simmer down. You'll know what's wrong with it as soon as I bring it up.
I'm not any kind of a genius, but I had the answer. I knew why Ken's control device had failed to keep the PT boat on a safe course through the reef. It was simple. I wasn't there anymore. The device hadn't just walked off the job. Somebody had moved it to another location. And the guidance unit aboard the boat had homed in on it like a dream. Nightmare type. As far as I could tell, it was still working perfectly.
Why? Why'd they move it, Mike? Why'd they want to wreck the boat?
You know anyone who doesn't particularly like you? I mean, enough to want to get rid of you?
Never had an enemy in my life. Never. No time. Too busy for enemies.
And then I'd say they wrecked that boat to get something off it. The other unit. The receiver.
Well, let's go get it then.
No. No, we never get them then. Probably out there somewhere. Probably on the shore end of that reef. I'll bet they're gonna make a try for it soon. Underwater. And I'll be there waiting for them.
The wrecker's plan had been simple. So was mine. To leave them a clear field, supposedly. Keep my boat out of sight, but handy for a quick scoop-up job. Of course, they might be too smart to come out to the wreck by the surface route anyway. It didn't matter. I'd be ready for them downstairs, too. I give them time to get aboard and unbolt the guidance unit from the cabin wall. When I caught them, I wanted their hands good and red. They'd had time enough to do their job. It was my turn now.
Come on, let's get going, Dan.
Yeah.
Come on, Dan, hurry up.
I knew what you were after, but I didn't know why. Why?
Money. You wouldn't believe how much it costs to live the way we do.
That unit won't do you any good. You can't sell it to anybody.
Can't sell it to anybody? Not in this country, you mean. But there are other places.
I can't get this connection off.
I won't do any good without connections.
didn't know for sure where he was heading with that unit, but I meant to keep him company every foot of the way.
Splendid. That's splendid. Just what I want. What I need. What? Don't talk so fast. I can't understand you. Yes. Yes. I'm sure tonight will be all right. Let me make sure. Mike? Mike?
Yeah, what?
What's what? What? I told you. I was buying a boat. Another big boat.
Good.
Mike, I need to know something. I need to know it at once. Can we take delivery tonight?
No, I'm sorry, Ken. I'm still way behind from this afternoon, right?
Mm-hmm. I think you can catch up.
Well, let's go. Never catch up here.
What in the world are you talking about?
Thought you said your brother was a genius. I'll be back next week at the same time with another sea hunt story. Plan to be with us again, huh?
At 6 a.m. on the morning of July 17th, the freighter, Arundel, caught in a gale of near hurricane intensity, went aground on Morisco Shoals. Her master, Tom Nicholson, put out a distress call immediately. The news was flashed to the general public by radio and television. When I heard it, I rushed to Tom Nicholson's home. Tom had been my skipper in Korea. He and his daughter, Peg, were good friends of mine.
Mike.
Hi, Peg.
Mike, thanks so much for coming.
Oh, sure, Peg, sure. At 11:27, Tom Nicholson gave the order to abandon ship. The entire crew took to the lifeboats. But Tom Nicholson stayed aboard, true to the traditions of the sea. By now, the freighter Felix was on her way to the Arundel. The whole world awaited news of her arrival.
We interrupt this program to bring you a bulletin just received from the Coast Guard. Captain Moss of the freighter Felix reports that he found the Arundel totally abandoned when he reached Morisco Shoals a few moments ago. The Arundel's skipper, Tom Nicholson, was not on board, apparently a casualty of the storm. The Felix is now proceeding for port with the Arundel in tow. We return you to Musical Medley.
The morning that the Arundel arrived in port, the lawyers for the Felix filed a salvage claim against her as an abandoned vessel. Since Tom Nicholson had been the Arundel's owner as well as her skipper, Peg decided to fight the claim. She asked me to get her the smartest admiralty lawyer in town. So I did. Todd Webster.
I'm sorry, Mr. Webster. I just don't understand.
I'm sorry, too. But I don't take cases I can't win.
What makes you think you can't win this one?
The Arundel was abandoned. Captain Moss said so under oath.
I don't buy that. Tom Nicholson wouldn't abandon his ship.
Oh? What did he do?
We were hoping you'd be able to find out, Mr. Webster, and clear his name.
Have you any idea how rough that might be on you?
I don't care.
You do know what Captain Moss said in his affidavit, don't you?
Yes, but I'm
Yes,
sure...
will do, thank you. And if the court finds that, in fact, the Arundel was abandoned, do you know that he's entitled to as much as a third of her value as Salvor? Do you know that?
Of course I do.
So, if the court approves the salvage claim, you may have to pay Moss as much as $1 million. That's more than your equity in the vessel, so you'll lose it.
I don't care about that. My father did not abandon his ship.
You know that to be a fact?
I know my father. He was a brave man. He was decorated 3 times in Korea.
Do you also know for a fact that he wasn't swept overboard?
He rode out worse storms than that dozens of times.
And you know for a fact that he wasn't the victim of an accident or a mistaken judgment?
Well, no.
Isn't it possible, then, that he wasn't on board when Moss reached the shoals?
Anything's possible, but in this case...
In this case, you have no basis in fact, do you, for disputing Captain Moss's claim, do you?
Well, I don't have any proof.
Thank you, Miss Nicholson. That will be all.
What do you mean, Mr. Webster? That isn't all.
No. No, I could have hit you much harder. Moss's attorney would, lots harder. I hope you won't ever give him the chance to in court. You mustn't, Miss Nicholson. You don't have a case.
Wait a minute, Mr. Webster.
She doesn't, Mr. Nelson.
Let me ask you a question or two now.
All right.
Suppose that Tom Nicholson didn't abandon his ship and that he wasn't swept overboard either. I mean, just supposing.
All right.
What could have happened to him then?
Well, I suppose he could have been removed from his ship.
You mean murder, don't you? By Moss?
It's possible.
If he brought the Arundel in with Tom aboard, what would he collect? A towage fee. But without Tom or anyone else aboard, well, you said it yourself. He'd get a third of the ship. I'd say it's very possible.
Is it? What makes you think Moss would commit murder for that?
What makes you think he wouldn't? I don't know a thing about Moss, do you?
I do, Mr. W. A buddy of mine shipped in the Felix one time. That's all he could take. Well, Moss starves his crew darn near. Lives pretty high in the hog himself, though. Champagne, caviar.
On shore, too?
Well, he's the last of the big-time spenders. But on what? My buddy says Moss doesn't rate that kind of loot.
Well, how about that now, huh?
You don't win in court on hearsay. You need evidence. Miss Nicholson, forgive me. But if this is murder, we don't even have a body to prove it.
What if I could find the body?
In those shoals?
Well, I admit it won't be easy.
Yeah. You'd have a good chance.
Huh?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it. Look, I've done a little diving myself, and you've got a pretty fair record. Now, that's not just my opinion. It could be Moss's, too.
What do you mean, Mr. Webster?
Todd. I may be working for you. I will be, if Moss goes for this story.
Good morning, Captain Moss.
Morning, Counselor. Have you seen this yet?
Search for Nicholson body. Diver, lawyer to search shoals for missing skipper. Well, this is just splendid, splendid.
Now, how do you figure that?
Well, if they do find the body, and Nelson's quite capable of doing so, it'll prove our case beyond the shadow of a doubt. Prima facie evidence of exactly how Nicholson lost his life.
Sunshine or storm, no day's a good day for dying. Heading out of harbor at dawn didn't make me nervous about what we might run into at Morisco Shoals. Just angry. I poured on the coal all the way out, steaming inside over what I was sure now had happened to Tom Nicholson. Todd Webster was too much of a lawyer to buy my theory completely, but I didn't mind that. Matter of fact, I admired his caution. He was turning out to be a mighty good man to have on the team.
See anything?
No, not a boat in sight. Maybe he figured out the odds and decided not to worry, huh?
Maybe he doesn't have anything to worry about.
Oh, no. He killed Tom Nicholson. I feel pretty sure about that, Todd. He knows if we found the body, an autopsy could kill him.
Well, let's get wet then, just in case. Hey, they won't see that thing, will they, if they do come after us?
Not before it sees them.
That thing was a periscope marine camera with a telephoto lens, designed to spy out topside activity without being spied on. For the past 20 minutes, though, there'd been nothing to spy. Hold it.
Sure did a good job on my boat.
Yeah, sorry. But did you get a picture?
Yeah, whole set of them. All we have to do now is to get ashore with them. Here, hold this, will you?
Yeah. Well, what's that?
A radio buoy. Sends out a mayday. Gives the Coast Guard a fix in opposition. Boy, we're a long way from home.
We were too far from land even to attempt to swim. On top of that, the currents were against us. So we waited interminable hours for rescue, hoping against hope that our distress signal had been heard, that help was on the way.
What's the matter with you guys? Tired?
Well, I can't imagine why. We've been on our backs all day. Hey, how are the pictures?
Great, just great.
Here they are. For identification purposes, that is. Yeah, look at them.
I dropped off a set at the FBI. John Farillo's on it. He's hoping for a make on the passenger through the bomb files. Anything you want me to tell him?
No, not yet. You, Mike?
Yeah. Ask him to buzz the FAA and find out who owns helicopter number N6720D.
What is this for? I've never carried a gun in my life.
All right, Bates, turn around.
And I've never been arrested either.
Is that why Moss hired you?
Moss, is that the guy I took out there?
You know his name wasn't Moss. What was it?
He didn't tell me.
Why'd you ask him?
Would you, a guy like that?
Did you fly this nameless terror free, or did he pay you?
So he paid me $500. I figured he was a live one.
Did he pay you in cash?
What else? All brand new 20s.
Evidence. You get a receipt when we book you.
Now what for? I didn't know he was going to bomb the boat.
Why didn't you turn him in afterward?
Before we started back, Farillo contacted his office, and we got some more good news. The bomber had been identified as a known criminal, George Hillman. He had been picked up and was being held at the Federal Building, awaiting our interrogation. His wallet was also loaded with brand new 20s. $840 worth of crisp new bills.
Moss who? What's his last name?
Moss. His last name is Moss. His first name is Jonathan.
Jonathan Moss.
That's right.
Never heard of him.
He hired you to bomb my boat at Morisco Shoals.
Nope. I'm the only one who tells me what to do.
You did it on your own then, huh?
Sure. What? What'd I do?
Look,
What?
you paid a man named Bates $500 to take you in his helicopter out to Morisco.
$500.
That's right.
You got that part of it wrong.
All right, then. He took you out to the shoals.
Me? I've never been in a helicopter in my life. Never. Till the day before yesterday, huh? I've never been in a helicopter. Who's a jerk with a lunchbox? Why? Why is he insisting on cutting his own throat?
Hillman, you mean?
Yeah. He has just one out and he won't take it. He won't admit he's working for somebody else.
Moss?
Yeah, maybe.
Oh.
Kelsey.
Yo.
I want you to do some more digging on Moss. Mike and I will look into Hillman's record.
Boy, it's sure a beaut. 6 arrests, 2 convictions, 4 aliases. Ought to be able to find something in here.
Something that'd stand up in court?
No, I got a postponement. But a Coast Guard Marine Board of Investigation has been working on the Arundel case. They're going to let me call witnesses.
What for? You can't prove the Nicholson thing on Moss. Can you?
I might. If I can tie him to the bombing. Grant you, I don't know how. Yet.
I think I do.
Yeah? How, Mike?
Those $20 bills they found on Bates and Hillman. Brand new, consecutively numbered. They came from Moss, didn't they?
Well, we think so.
Where'd he get them?
From a bank.
Which bank?
Past. There's one every block this part of the country.
Yeah. But they all get their brand new money from the Federal Reserve System. Call them, Kelsey. Come on, Mike. We still have a job to do.
Checking police files and probation reports produced 2 new facts on George Hillman. Out of all those aliases, one name turned out to be legitimate. He was really George Morton, and he had a brother, John. When we tried to find out why he called himself Hillman instead of Morton, and what had happened to brother John, he blew his stack. His violence was surprising. Something about the name Morton had touched a sensitive spot, but what it was or why, we couldn't find out. Kelsey hadn't reported back by the time of the Coast Guard hearing. We had to go before the board with nothing on Moss or Hillman that would tie them together. And Moss proved to be an even tougher witness than Todd Webster had anticipated.
Well, Captain Moss?
Yes?
Yes. You do recognize the man.
Objection. This line of questioning is tendentious and irrelevant. The witness obviously does not recognize the man in the photograph.
You believe that your questions may throw light on the Arundel casualty and the fate of Captain Nicholson?
I do, Captain.
Very well. Objection overruled.
Exception.
Well, Captain Moss, do you know the man in the photo? His name is George Hillman.
No, I don't know him.
The pilot, Robert Louis Bates, he brought Hillman out to the boat. Do you know him?
No, sir.
You're certain you're not acquainted with Hillman or Bates?
I'm afraid I've never laid eyes on them.
Have you ever spoken to them by telephone?
Oh, come on now.
Have you?
No.
Mr. Webster, are you implying that Captain Moss was involved in the bombing of Mr. Nelson's boat?
Yes, Captain.
Well, if you believe that the witness is perjuring himself, you may not imply it. You must present proof.
I'm sorry.
We will recess for 30 minutes. When we resume, you lose no time in presenting proof. Gentlemen.
Maybe you were right, Todd. Maybe we don't have a case.
Isn't over yet, is it?
Recess. Where have you been?
Las Vegas.
Come on.
Well, that's where the Federal Reserve System sent me. Now, those 20s were issued to the Silver State Bank of Las Vegas 3 days ago.
Moss's bank?
Sure. And they cashed a check for him that same day for $2,000. 120s. Here's a photostat of the check, a list of the serial numbers, and an affidavit of the bank teller. Oh, and Jonathan Moss isn't his right name.
Huh?
Well, he changed it several years ago, but not legally. I've got a stat of that, too.
Where'd you get that?
From the bank. Here, his real name is Morton, John Morton.
Captain Moss, would you be willing to let the board examine the contents of your billfold? A new bill might be best. Captain, I wish to enter this bill as evidence. Thank you. Now, sir, would you please read the denomination and serial number?
$20, L7800945.
L7800945, thank you. That number appears on this list prepared by the Witnesses Bank in Las Vegas, showing the serial numbers of all the $20 bills they gave him when cashing his check for $2,000 3 days ago. Check marks appear next to more than half the numbers. Bills so numbered were found in the possession of Hillman and Bates when they were arrested. I wish to enter this list as an exhibit.
Objection. That's hearsay. Before Mr. Webster may put the list in evidence, let him produce the cashier and the arresting officers to attest to its authenticity.
Gladly. But before doing so, I would like to present two other documents. The first is a probation report on Hillman stating that he was born George Morton and that he had a brother named John.
I know I had a brother. It's a lie. I made it up.
Mr. Hillman, I must remind you that this is an official investigation. I won't tolerate interruption in his proceedings. Continue, Mr. Webster.
The second document concerns the witness directly.
Leave him out of it. He had nothing to do with it.
Mr. Hillman, that's enough.
You've got to listen to me. It don't matter about me, but he's somebody. Get your hands off me. You can't stop me from talking out to Captain Moore.
Georgie.
Get your hands off me.
Georgie! I'll let you speak up for me once. It's no good then, it's no good now. I'm John Morton. He's my brother. I hired him to blow up that boat.
He's a jolly good fellow, for he's a jolly good fellow, for he's a jolly good fellow, which nobody can deny.
For winning the case?
And for clearing my father's name.
Yeah, I take that. Can you get it?
Yeah.
Okay. Hello? Hello? Just a moment, please. It's for you, Mr. Harris.
Again? Poor guy. He keeps begging Mr. W. to take him as a client.
No, not a chance. He doesn't have a case.
Relax, Mr. Harris. You've got it made. Hi there. I'm Lloyd Bridges. Skin diving is certainly a lot of fun, and it's full of adventure. See some more of it again next week, huh? When there'll be another excursion into that fabulous underwater world of Sea Hunt.
was working in a reservoir high in the mountains of South America. Not too tough a job, but an important one. The feed pipe we were installing supplied drinking, cooking, and washing water to thousands of people. My name's Mike Nelson. I had a good assistant, Durango Lima, a local diver. He was experienced and careful. That was why he was good. It doesn't matter what the job is, in what body of water, or how careful you are. Down below, you can be hit by any kind of an accident. It was raining barrels and crates. Careful sometimes means lucky. It sure didn't in this case. Durango's caution and know-how weren't any help to him now. Mine either. I'd have to go topside to save him. My diver assistant, Durango Lima, had been hit and trapped by debris on the floor of a reservoir. Now that's where the trouble had come from.
Senor Nelson! What happened? It belongs to the Diego Ranch. He lost a tire. The cargo tore loose and dropped in the water.
You're telling me one of those crates fell in Durango. I'll need help.
There's only Pete Butler.
Oh, no, not him. I wouldn't take him as a gift. Now get me somebody here, fast!
But, Senor Nelson, there's no...
Hi, Maria. Yeah, I gotta get this crummy chair fixed.
How can you live like this?
Like what? Not too bad, anyhow. It'll do for now.
Oh, you've been saying that for 4 years. You expect me to marry you and come live in a place like this? You did not go see Senor Ramirez today.
Oh, heck, honey. What do I need with a job like that? Huh? Look, baby, I'm no truck driver.
What are you?
I'm a salvage diver, one of the best. What do I want with driving a truck, huh?
It's work, and it pays money. Oh, Pete, I'm tired of waiting.
Pete, you got your diving gear ready?
Well, sure, why?
Oh, I'm sorry, Maria. Buenas tardes. There's been an accident at the lake. Durango's been trapped and Mike Nelson needs help.
Oh? Mike Nelson needs help, huh? I told you he couldn't handle it. You guys should have given me the contract.
Pete, what are you going to do?
Well, that's City Hall for you. With me around, they sent all the way to the States for Nelson.
Are you coming or aren't you?
Take it easy, take it easy. You bring my car, I'll go with Carlos.
How is he?
Concussion, a few bruises. He'll be okay, senor.
Now, don't go away. I got another patient.
Muy bien, senor.
Durango's own efforts to get loose had used up his air. The spare tank I brought down would be really a lifesaver.
are they? At the bottom, about 50 feet. There should be nothing to it.
With the crowbar and any kind of a break, I'd have Durango free in another few minutes. Or so I thought. Seems I needed to bring just a little more pressure to bear on the bar. Here was extra help. This character was just making things worse. Oh, no, not Pete Butler. I'd met him before, in the States. His high opinion of his skill wasn't shared by anyone he'd worked with. And you can see why. I finally managed to explain what was needed. His strength plus my own gave us the right leverage and a chance to pull Durango out. He was free. There was a real pro. Instead of panicking, he'd kept his head the whole time and helped save his life.
Durango. Cuidado. Cuidado con las piernas. Watch your legs. Cuidado. I'm sorry, amigo, but Pete Butler was all I could get.
Better than nothing, I guess.
Is he all right?
It'd take more than that to kill this boy. A couple of days, he'll be working again. We'll get him to the hospital.
Get started. I'll clear the road ahead.
Sí, vámonos.
Mr. Nelson, why is Pete still down there?
Well, I thought he was right behind me. He didn't come up.
Something had bothered me when I'd first seen Butler down there. What? Now I remembered. His diving gear. At this depth, he was toting a one-way ticket to the hospital on his back. He was cashing it in now. Convulsions from oxygen poisoning. His one chance was fresh air, topside.
You got oxygen poisoning. This is a rebreather. You know you're not supposed to use this below 30 feet, don't you? We were working at 50.
Pete, you could have killed yourself.
If you'd have let me do it the way I started, it'd have been all right.
I'm sorry you got into trouble. Use your tank, huh? It's a lot safer.
Now, look, big shot. I don't need you to tell me what kind of equipment device, see? I had this rebreather made special. I've been diving with it for years. You get it? Come on, honey, let's go.
just passed the big man. He seems to be all right.
Hey, he'll dry out, I guess.
So this finishes you here, huh?
Mm-hmm. You won't need me to help pull out that junk. Guess you get a crane, huh, to do the job?
Yes. As soon as I can get some men together.
Well, there's no rush. It'll be at least a couple of days before Durango's able to do any more underwater work for you.
He's a good boy, that one.
Yes, he is.
Say, you'll be coming back again someday, huh, amigo?
Bet I will. Oh, say, I'm not flying out until tomorrow morning. Why don't you drop by the hotel when you get through here, huh?
I will.
The driver of the ranch truck.
Is he worse?
No. He became conscious. He told me he was carrying a drum of cattle dip.
And it's in there?
See, in the city's water supply. It's called Daitico. It's a deadly poison.
I was all set to leave South America. My work in the city reservoir was wrapped up early despite the accident that injured my assistant.
Hey, Carlos. I'm sorry, Senor Nelson, but we need your help. The truck that overturned this morning.
Yeah?
One of the drums that fell in the reservoir contains cattle dip, Daitico. It's a deadly poison.
How deadly?
Enough to contaminate the whole reservoir and poison the entire population. We could shut off the pumps, but what's going to happen to the people without water?
Yeah, we got to get it up. Fast, before it starts leaking.
Here, I'll take that.
Thanks. Durango, he won't be able to help. I'll have to get Pete Butler. Yeah, but that gear of his, it's not safe.
I'll pick up Durango's tanks.
Okay, good. I'll meet you at the reservoir, huh?
Fine.
No. Now, I'm going to tell you once more, Nelson. I'm going to make it plain. I'm not going to help you. Now, will you get out?
I'm sorry, Mr. Nelson.
Not your fault.
You're not a man. I've wasted all these years thinking you would be someone. I hated to
Now, you kill him, Rebecca! Why can't they just tell the people not to use the water?
And how do they do that? Do you think you're in America, where people have telephones and radios? How about the poor people? They only have one tap at the end of the street. Are you going to tell each one?
Well, they're just going to have to turn it off at the main valve, then.
And then what? The water up there, that's all they've got. Pete, do you understand? That's all they've got.
Maria, I can't even use my own equipment. It's too deep.
You heard what they said. They're bringing Durango's equipment for you to use. Pete, you must help them. Please.
You're right. As usual. You'd better go on home. See you later.
Well, now we were getting somewhere. At least I'd located the barrel of deadly powder. Under all that debris, it was wedged in tight. It had to be gotten out of there and out of the reservoir. And now wouldn't be a minute too soon. If any sizable amount of water leaked in, the powder inside would expand and burst the barrel like a homemade bomb. Once that happened, the reservoir would be useless for months.
Where's your diving gear? Durango's tanks are empty.
Empty? Nelson down there?
Yes. Wait a minute. Mike says those things aren't safe.
He does, huh?
You'll need this for the drum.
I never thought I'd be glad to see Pete Butler. Clumsy or not, he still represented manpower. I couldn't understand his wearing that deadly rebreather again, but there was nothing I could do about it now. Getting that barrel out from under was my #1 problem. This time, Pete behaved like a working diver, an active member of a team. The postman rang twice for Pete Butler. Oxygen poisoning, again.
You want to get oxygen poisoning again? Where's Durango's tank? His tanks are empty. I can make it. Come on. No, Pete. No!
Never judge a book by its cover, or a man by his mouth. One thing Pete Butler wasn't was a coward. Going down again to 50 feet, in view of this demonstrated susceptibility to oxygen poisoning, meant serious danger for him, death maybe. If he hadn't known that before, he knew it now. We made good headway. We might get the job done in time after all. While Pete worked the lever, I tried to pull the barrel clear. It didn't work. Just the opposite. Now we were in real trouble. The whole district was. Water was getting into the barrel. At any moment, the expanding powder might push off the lid. Then poisoned water would be on its way, irretrievably, to every tap in the city. It had to happen sooner or later. We had both known it. But this time, I couldn't take Pete topside. Not till the job was done. Instead, I gave him some of my air and prayed that it would stall off the effects of oxygen poisoning for a few minutes at least. I don't know how Pete managed to keep going, but he did. He had every excuse in the world to quit and save his life, and he stayed on the job. Muy hombre, a lot of man.
Thanks to Pete. Give me a hand. He's in a bad way. All right, give me a hand. Get him to a doctor, huh? Fine. Up, boy, come on. You'll be all right. You'll be all right. Pete, look.
Hi, Maria.
Hello.
Ah. How's patient?
He is always eating.
When am I going to get up out of here?
Well, the doctor says tomorrow.
Good. I got a lot of things to do.
Oh, sure.
I'm not kidding. Yes, Carlos, or Mike here. Say, Carlos, did Mr. Diego buy that idea?
He's considering it.
Well, he's got to go for it. It'll cost him more than the truck's worth to tow it out to the ranch.
I told him, Pete.
Did you tell him why I wanted it?
I did. But he seems almost to doubt my words. Or his senses.
Oh? How come? Hasn't he ever heard of a Yankee starting up a business down here?
That's right. I'll set him straight when I get up out of here. Then all I have to do is fix up the truck and line up some short-haul customers.
So driving a truck is all right now.
We're going to be partners. We're going to get married. I'll handle the office work. You'll drive the truck.
Boy, this guy's still got a lot to learn.
Hi, I'm Lloyd Bridges, inviting you to join us for another action-packed story of underwater adventure 1 week from today.
Let's face it, I'm a professional diver and I like my work. But that doesn't mean that I'm crazy. And I'd have to be to like this part of it, handling explosives. Especially liquid nitro. One of the most powerful and possibly the most unstable explosive ever confined to a can. It'll go off sometimes if you look at it the wrong way. If you jiggle it, or jar it, or drop it, well, they'll never find the pieces. You set it off underwater by an electric charge when you're a long, long way from it. In fact, out of the water entirely. At least that's what the book says. Solid charges aren't quite as nervous as liquid nitro. But you can't afford to get careless with them either. Whether you're planting shaped charges in a concrete wall or placing TNT packs in a submarine crevice or trying to defuse the warhead of a live torpedo, there's always the chance, and a man's a fool not to expect it to happen sometime or other, that the explosive he's handling may go off while he's still within range. Explosive machines like this one are comparatively stable, of course. The only real danger is if a boat hull comes into direct contact with it. My job was to see that it didn't happen by cutting the mine loose from the kelp bed and somehow wrestling it out of the path of those boats speeding by overhead. Explosives came as close to killing me this time as anything ever did. They literally fell on me. By the time I'd worked my way free and managed to cut the line to the detonator, I'd made up my mind that this was the last time I'd ever take this kind of a risk. Never again. Famous last words. 3 days later, fate and the Coast Guard landed me square in the middle of the most explosive underwater parlay of my life.
Little containers. And any one of them could disintegrate this boat.
Yeah, and that freighter is breaking up down there. If I could just set off that charge and we can get out of here.
Oh, no. We've got to know that all of that nitro has exploded harmlessly. Can't you see a couple of those things floating around in a crowded harbor?
Hey. Look at that.
Yeah. She's shifting. If it was anything but nitrile, it's so unpredictable.
Thanks for reminding me.
I'm not trying to scare you. Only let you know what you're getting into down there.
I just hope I find those bombs right away. This is my last tank. Had to use up all my air. Locate that freighter.
Well, that's bad. I'll get on the horn to base and have the plane fly out some tanks.
Might be too late.
Now listen, if it looks too tough when you get down there...
It looks too tough from right here. Watch that, will you? See it doesn't tangle?
Yeah.
Getting down to the wreck was no sweat, or getting into it either. Finding those stray floating bombs full of death, though, that was a problem. I couldn't see any. There was one of them anyway. Now I had to find the rack that it had come from and put it safely to sleep for a while. My luck continued to hold. I put the bomb away safely. One glance at the rack gave me plenty to think about. None of it good. I had half a dozen more bombs to find. The next bomb practically found me. It bobbed up out of the ventilator, and I grabbed it just in time. Bomb number 3 was my luckiest find. I got to it just as it was about to wash out through the porthole into the open sea. I started back to the bomb rack with it and spotted still another container of nitrile. I knew I'd be taking a very big chance trying to carry 2 of the bombs at the same time, but it'd be riskier still to leave it behind. Might not be there when I came back. It was a tricky thing to manage, but I thought I had it made. On my way to the bomb rack, though, my luck ran out. The ship lurched. This was it. One bomb or the other had to blow. Wrong. My number hadn't come up yet. Now the ship lurched again. Looked as if all the work I'd done would either float away or go up in my face. But the luck started to come my way again. I recaptured the bombs in time, locked them in tight before the ship decided to shift again. It wasn't just because I was afraid that the ship might lurch for a third time, but because I had to get topside. I was out of air.
Did you find them, Mike?
Yeah, every one of them. They're floating all around down there. But I ran out of air before I could set the charge.
Well, then we'll have to wait for the plane to get here with those tanks.
Afraid it might be too late.
Why?
She rolled around a couple of times while I was down there. Tide might send her on those rocks.
What are we going to do?
Better go back down there again. Try and set that charge.
Without air?
That's right.
Oh, Mike, it's too dangerous.
You said you didn't want that nitrile bobbing around, didn't you?
Now, how can I help?
You might pray a little.
The wreck seemed a lot further down now, but I had to get there just on the air in my lungs. I made it all right. Then placed and set the timer where it would do the most good.
You get it okay? Yeah, get out of here.
All right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Let's go.
Oh, you should not waste any time, are you?
Now we got a call while you were down. Priority 1.
Oh, yeah? Hey, must be important. What is it?
The big hydro plant at Wendover Point. Somebody phoned in a tip that it was going to be blown up this afternoon.
Blown up?
Yeah. This is our day for explosives.
I've had enough to last me a long time. Hey, what are you up to? How do I figure in this one?
Well, here's the plant, and here is the outfall pipe stretching out to sea. They think the bomb's been planted somewhere in that underwater pipe. If it has, somebody's got to get it out.
You mean I do, huh?
I'm sorry, Mike.
Now, here I go again. Where's this place?
Here?
Hey, what about out here?
The plane will meet us there at Wendover Point.
First nitro, now a bomb.
Huh? One down.
Yeah. Now one to go. We had been alerted that someone intended blowing up the big hydro plant at Wendover Point. Information was that a bomb had been planted in the outfall pipe far below the surface. My job was to find it and disarm it without getting killed.
The end of the pipe should be right below us. You won't have any trouble finding it.
I wish I could say as much for that bomb. Probably time charged, don't you think?
Oh, it'd have to be, to allow whoever planted it time to get out of there.
Yeah. But how much time? There was the outfall pipe, and a diver swimming away from it. He sure didn't want any part of my company, and I wanted his, and any information that he might be able to give once I took him topside. To make sure he came along with me, I slipped the sling of my spear gun around his neck like a noose. There wasn't much he could do after that, except behave himself.
I said it's a free ocean.
Now, don't get legal on us now. What's your name?
John Stark.
You plant the bomb on that pipe?
I don't know what you're talking about.
You don't, huh? Well, your wife thinks differently. She phoned the authorities and reported that you intended to damage the plant.
She's out of her mind.
Is it true you used to work for Wendover and that you got fired about a week ago?
So what? A lot of people get fired. What's that mean?
Randy, the more time we spend with him, the less time I'm going to have on that bomb when it's down there.
Stark, where's the bomb?
No bomb.
You're a scuba diver. You know all about it, huh?
Enough.
Enough to know what happens to a submerged man during an underwater explosion?
Sure. The concussion pounds his insides to a pulp.
Think it might kill him?
Probably. I don't know.
You don't, huh? Well, I'm going to give you a chance to find out.
What do you mean?
You're going down below with me.
No.
Okay, then tell me. Where is it?
How many times do I have to tell you? There ain't no bomb.
Well, good. You got nothing to worry about. Come on.
No! Come on. No! No!
What are you scared of, huh? There's nothing down there. No bomb. Is there? Is there?
Yes! There is! There is! Let me go, please!
Where is it?
I don't know. It's a torpedo. I just aimed it into the pipe and I let it go. I swear.
Time fuse?
About 20 minutes. Yes, yes.
Got about 12 minutes. On the outside.
Can do.
I've got it. Well, Stark had told part of the truth anyway. He hadn't been inside the pipe himself. He had aimed the torpedo through a hole in the screen. I was a good distance into the pipe. Now I made out a ring of gauges in front of me. Devices to regulate the outflow of water, measure the temperature and all that. I was in too much of a hurry, I guess. Thinking too hard about the time I had left to find that torpedo and live. I snagged myself, but good. My air hose had caught in one of the gauges. I twisted and turned. I couldn't get loose. Every effort I made to free myself seemed to make things worse. I fought down my panic and reasoned my way out. I had to undo my straps. That was the first thing. But how? I pressed up against the gauge as high as I could go. For just a split second, the pressure was eased, just barely enough to enable me to loose the straps and free myself. Now it was fairly easy to untangle the tanks. I wasn't out of trouble yet, though. My air wasn't flowing properly. My struggles had damaged the regulator. It had to be fixed. I didn't have the tools for the job, just the knife. Well, this still might be my day to get blown to bits. But it wasn't my day for drowning. My air supply was still okay. I was running out of time. Less than 4 minutes were left before Stark's torpedo was due to explode. I had to find and disarm it almost immediately, or die. I didn't find the torpedo. My tanks did. They bumped into it, where it had run out of steam and lodged itself among the gauges. As I said, I don't like handling explosives, but I've made it my business to learn how. I knew that the way to disarm this type of torpedo was to wind the propeller in reverse until the detonator was fully withdrawn. I did it, The torpedo was harmless now. The hydro plant was safe. I wasn't. I'd been on the bottom too long today. I'd put out too much energy too fast. And I had a long way to go with the torpedo. A long, long way. It wasn't nerve or willpower that kept me going, just training. Training that my body remembered long, long after my mind blanked out on me. The last thing I thought of, just before the end, was if I came out alive in this job for the Coast Guard, I'd have the Navy to thank. The Navy that had taught me how to handle explosives underwater and get to the top again.
Don't bring it aboard, Mike. Release it.
I got it.
All ahead, boom.
Boy. Well, tell me you're tired.
Well, that was a strain. I was tensed in every muscle while you were down there. I worried about it more than you did.
You want to make a bet? Hello there. I'm Lloyd Bridges. Skin diving is fun and adventure for young and old, but it can be dangerous. So know the sport well and don't take any chances. Be with you next week for another exciting sea hunt.
Destroyers have jobs in peacetime, too. One of them's helping to keep the peace through scientific research. In this case, studying how sound travels under the sea from the Indian Ocean on the east coast of Africa to the Caribbean, southeast of the United States. And that's where we were, aboard a Coast Guard buoy tender 8,000 miles from the Navy destroyer. We included Lieutenant Pete Gregory and Jim Parsons, my diving buddy. Pete was the project officer. My department was troubleshooting. I'm Mike Nelson. As I joined Pete at the control board, I could see that my department was in line for a job right away, on the eve of our very first experiment. Something brand new was wrong.
Microphone, Mike. It's not picking up a thing.
You sure? Try it yourself. Maybe you've got the touch.
That's our thing there.
We better haul him up and have a look.
Yeah, but not all the way up, though, huh?
Fix him underwater? Great. Save a lot of time if you can.
I'll go with you, Mike.
Okay.
All right, take it up easy.
Scientists had just announced a startling theory, that sound waves travel through a kind of natural speaking tube at the bottom of the sea at an average speed of 840 miles a minute. Supposedly, we had planted our hydrophones at the right level for tapping this underwater RFD, 3/4 of a mile down. How come, then, that the end of the cable was coming into sight so soon? It had been cut somehow, about 100 feet down. Rocks had been tied on to compensate for the weight of the hydrophones and the rest of the cable. How and why?
Diver had to do this.
Yeah. But where'd the diver come from? No man's land, or whatever you call it?
Ouija?
Yeah.
It's an orphan. Nobody's ever claimed it.
Wait a minute. There's a new military junta in Castania.
Yeah, what about it?
Well, they've been making noises about redrawing their boundaries to take in a bunch of these little sand spits. Ouija, too, maybe.
What do you say we pay Ouija a little visit, huh?
All right.
No man's land is right, huh?
Sure it is.
Welcome to Castania. Captain Navarre of the Republican Navy. and acting governor of Ouija Island.
Lieutenant Gregory, United States Coast Guard. This is Mike Nelson, Commodore and our auxiliary.
An honor. But next time, I beg you, please request permission to come ashore.
Permission, he says.
You're on Castinian soil, Lieutenant. And your ship is in Castinian waters. Undeniably, you have been committing espionage. If you persist...
What do you mean, undeniably? I deny it.
Yes? Come with me.
You won't need that.
Wait here. Dr. Rico.
Yes? What is it, Captain? I'm busy.
This won't take long.
Dr. Raku, Dr. Tommaso Raku.
Yes?
I've been admiring your work in oceanography for a long time.
Thank you.
Especially his studies on the counter Gulf Stream.
You're a scientist yourselves, then?
Well, we are on a scientific mission, yes.
You're spying. We have proof. Show them, Doctor.
We're doing a research job, Captain. Now, your government was notified. Everyone in the area was. Yeah.
Our hydrophone.
Splendid equipment.
Remarkably sensitive. Incredible clarity.
Perfect for spying in our territorial waters. That's why we confiscated it.
Confiscated? These waters aren't territorial.
We're crazy, huh?
You're busy, Doctor. Go then. And I suggest you return to your ship and leave this area immediately.
My orders are to stay here till these tests are completed.
And mine are to maintain Castania's rights. By any action required.
I trust you won't find action necessary, Captain. We might be forced to retaliate. What do you say, Mike? All set?
Yeah. Let's hope they don't confiscate this set.
Yeah.
How do you figure, Pete? I mean, Dr. Raku working for them.
His country, right or wrong?
Yeah, I guess that is it. Well, what Operation say? Go ahead.
They say, quote, orders unchanged, end quote. Meaning, what are we waiting for?
Wonder what their orders were.
No spy catchers in sight, Lieutenant. Lower away.
Okay, Mike. Lower away.
I'm going to follow it down away.
Not too far, huh? This camera loses you at 150 feet.
Oh, don't worry. That's my maximum without special tanks. They'll probably move in around 90 feet if they try at all. I can get there fastest from below.
Okay, Mike, you're the diver. Just watch it, huh?
There's nothing to watch yet. Maybe there won't be. Out.
Leveling off at 150.
Roger. Hydrophone's on the bottom now and operational. I'm radioing the destroyers to drop the cans. Out. Charles, this is George. Over. Charles, this is George. Over.
George, this is Charles. Over.
Manila Bay. Over.
Manila Bay. 0 hour.
1425. Now 1424. Minus 10. Minus 5. 4.
3. 2.
1. Out.
It wasn't a secret mission. The code could be broken down in no time. George meant Admiral George Dewey. Charles meant the officer to whom he gave a famous order at Manila Bay. You may fire when you are ready, Gridley. Our Gridley was firing depth charges, timed to explode 4,000 feet down, inside the speaking tube from the Indian Ocean to the Caribbean. If the sound waves went the whole distance, 8,000 miles, at their theoretical average speed of 840 miles a minute, they'd hit the hydrophones and Pete's monitor in an hour and a half. We'd never know unless the hydrophones remained tied to the monitor by cable. They'd cut it once, burned it. I could see now how. They weren't getting a second chance. The cans exploded deep in the Indian Ocean, and the sound waves headed west. Their target was 8,000 miles away, a set of hydrophones on the bottom of the Caribbean. The phones were rigged to a topside monitor. My job was protecting the cable from some local fire eaters. They claimed that we were running a spy setup.
Where you off to, Mike? What's wrong?
Frogmen at 2 o'clock, with something that looks like a flamethrower.
Where? I can't see him.
They haven't come into camera range yet. Out. It was an underwater cutting torch, special design. Only one man in their team could have dreamed it up. The world-famous marine scientist, my hero, Dr. Rico. This wasn't the time to check gauges, but we had to be 200 feet down now at least. Speed swimming only increased my chances of being hit by nitrogen narcosis. And that's as dangerous to a diver as laughing gas to a driver on the freeway. Safer, though, than being hit by a blowtorch. "227 feet. Deeper meant death. The narcosis had hit them first. They were still dangerous, but only to each other. I couldn't let them die, either by burning or drowning. I released their weight belts. That would take them to the top at a safe speed, too. They wouldn't need any stops for decompression. They hadn't been down deep more than a few minutes. I had been in the danger zone, though, 150 feet or deeper for a quarter of an hour. I would have to decompress. It'd take about 30 minutes. Nothing to it, really. Except I didn't have that much air. Only 100 feet from the top now. But 100 yards from the ship. Out of camera and radio range. By the time I got to my first stop, 30 feet down, I'd also be out of air.
Rockman. Must be the ones Mike spotted. Mike, this is Pete Gregory. Mike, this is Pete Gregory. Come in, Mike. Mike, this is Pete Gregory. Come in, Mike.
I had to find my way back to the cable and SOS Pete to send down a tank right away fast. Semper Paratus, the Coast Guard motto, always prepared. I believed it now.
Soundwave should have checked in by now. Phones are working okay.
What time do cans go in?
14:25.
For 96 minutes now.
Yeah. So I'm speaking to. Well, when it gets to 100 minutes, I'm going to call it a... Three cans, three booms. Wow. Nice speaking to. Hey, you know, I got a half a mind to buzz over and tell Navarre and Riku.
Yeah. They probably know already. They've got another set of phones.
Yeah.
Well?
Nothing. Perhaps there won't be any more tests.
Tests? I tell you, they're spying. And unless we stop them, they...
How? What can we do?
The hydrophone can identify what things they put in the water, can it?
Well, yes, within limits. But that doesn't mean I can do anything.
You love your country, Dr. Riku. You will find a way to serve her.
The next test in our series was to see if sound waves starting 8,000 miles away could set off acoustic mines. We were planting them below the ship, but way, way down, 3/4 of a mile alongside the hydrophones. Actually, though, the explosive effect of the mines was nil, farther away than 100 yards.
Well, all secure below. Let's hope it stays that way till firing time.
There's no problem.
Oh, no? What if Riku comes up with another torch? They're pulling out.
Bag and baggage. Good, huh?
Yeah. Still like to know what Riku's angle is.
The code word for test number 2 was Bunker Hill. Sam Adams gave the order to John Hancock. John saw the whites of their eyes at 0916 and fired 3 depth charges. Nothing to do now but wait 96 minutes for the sound waves to ping against the mines. That would be at or very near 10:52.
Pete! Dr. Raku!
The mines! The mines! What mines? Please, I know. I monitored your preparations. My calculations told me what they had to be. And last night I saw them.
You saw them?
Yes, I came back with the frogman. We raised the mines from the bottom. I thought I had to do it for the good of my country.
Where are the mines now?
Right below you, 100 feet down on buoys.
4 minutes is all we got. You'll never get the ship out of here in that time. Wouldn't work anyway. Just starting the engine will set them off. Start cutting those mines loose. I'll meet you down below.
Ten 51:30. 30 seconds for the mine to drop 100 yards and make itself harmless.
So when the new government came into power, and Castaigne was free again, you won't believe it, but it was like the dawn after a long and terrible darkness. I'm a scientist. I've never been in politics. Never. So I was glad when they asked me to work with them. For the good of the fatherland. I didn't know. I didn't understand.
You thought you were serving your country, huh?
Yes. But I was betraying it, and myself. That's why I came back. Not just to save you, though thank God I was in time for that too. But I want to fight. I want to help to put an end to what's going on in my country.
Well, I have approval, Dr. Raku. I can take you back to the States.
Thank you. A long way from Castaigne.
But it could be the shortest way home.
Hello there. I'm Lloyd Bridges. You know, 3/5 of the world is covered by the sea. And how little most of us know about that underwater world. Go below with us again next week, huh? For another thrilling adventure in Sea Hunt.
Qualifying heats for the Hamilton Trophy. 3 times around a 3-mile track at a minimum 95 miles an hour. Rack up 3 laps at that speed, and you can race the world's fastest water scooters for cash and the trophy. Johnny Cleaver won his chance with the best 3-lap average of the year, 107 miles per hour. Now, the day before the race, he was unwinding a little with his fiancée, Jill Bromley. And guess who was chaperoning the party?
I'm going to get wet, Commodore.
He isn't a Commodore, is he?
Sure he is, with the Coast Guard Auxiliary. Watch, tomorrow he'll be out there with a whole flotilla.
Really, Mike? Doing what?
Oh, helping the Coast Guard keep the course clear. Holding back the spectators, things like that.
You see, you don't have to worry about me winning, honey. Mike won't let the people mob me.
You wait for me down below now.
He's so conceited.
He's got a good chance to win that boat race tomorrow. He's got to simmer down.
He's wound up all right. But compared to that brother of his, I swear, Mike, Fred wants Johnny to win so badly his teeth ache.
You better go ahead, huh? Your boyfriend will be wondering what's happening to you up here.
Nothing, darn it.
At the bottom of the bay, Jill looked around for her fiancé, Johnny. They were wonderful kids, both of them, bursting with energy and high spirits, especially Johnny, because of the strain he'd been under for so many months. They were expert divers. No matter how much they fooled around, I was pretty sure they wouldn't do anything really foolish.
WM2050, Mike Nelson. WM2050, Mike Nelson. This is Fred Cleaver, over.
This is WM2050, Mike Nelson, over.
Trouble, Mike. I've got to get together with Johnny. He's still out there with you?
Yeah, but he's in the water. What's the matter, the boat?
Bet it's a boat. Tell him to get in so he can lend a hand with it. Or we can forget racing tomorrow and watch TV.
Okay, Fred. How soon you need him?
Like an hour ago. I'll be waiting at the yard. Out.
A tough break for Johnny. I wondered if his brother Fred realized how tough. Today was Johnny's last chance to rest up before tomorrow's rocket ride. Now he'd have to work the rest of the day. Most of the night, too, maybe, fixing the boat. Mighty big handicap to give a driver and expect him to come through in front, alive. On my way down, I kept trying to figure it out. If Fred was so anxious to have Johnny win tomorrow, how come he hadn't called in some expert mechanics to fix whatever was wrong with their boat? Why did it have to be Johnny, who needed every bit of rest and relaxation he could possibly get? It was all well and good for Fred to keep going till he dropped, to make sure their boat was in perfect shape. But if Johnny did the same thing, he wouldn't last out the first heat. Well, that had to be their problem, though. Mine was to find Johnny and get Fred's message to him. Johnny and Jill spotted me first. When When I caught sight of them, they were off and running. Catching up with them figured to be tough. They had a mighty healthy lead to start with. They lengthened their lead so far, I just about lost sight of them. Still, I had to get the word to Johnny pretty soon, or all the work that he and Fred had done so far might add up to 0 tomorrow. Moray. 6 feet of steel elastic topped by a head full of teeth too sharp to believe until you feel them. I was sure that Johnny and Jill had too much sense to be hiding anywhere in this area. But where were they? I spotted some bubbles. A few moments later, I saw Jill. No sign of Johnny, though. Maybe he'd gone topside. No, he'd just been hiding around the corner. He rushed me and unfastened my weight belt almost before I knew it. Up I went, in spite of myself. But I couldn't waste any more time trying to deliver Fred's message, so I dropped it. The slate read, "Fred needs you at Boatyard. Urgent." They got the message fast.
You think sure I got the bugs out by now.
You haven't been idle, that's for sure.
Blowers, Fred? Intercooler? Intake valve?
Both intake valves, both exhaust valves, both magnetos. Check them all, John boy.
What's doing it? Gremlins?
You tell me. Something so small, probably. We'll flip when you find it. Take me 5 minutes to fix.
When he finds it. Now remember, you're the crew chief.
No, just a fair country handyman, that's all. Hey, we go in the first heat tomorrow, 12 noon. Let's get cracking.
We'll make it. Great day off while it lasted, huh, Mike? Thanks again.
My pleasure. We'll do it again soon. It's going to be a rough day for you tomorrow, even on a full night's sleep, so you get as much as you can, here?
Look, Shetty's still the best driver going. And I bet on him to win blindfolded.
And I agree.
Come on, lover.
Take care. Come on, let's get going.
The trouble was minor. A defective gasket deep inside the intake system. But it took Johnny till 4 in the morning to find it. And just 4 hours later, at 8, he was checking out Miss T-Ree on the official oval. There was no time for a thorough test. The course closed at 9 a.m. Then the race officials and the Coast Guard took over. The Coast Guard's job was maintaining safety on the course. Ours, as members of the auxiliary, was to police the surrounding waters. Unless spectator craft stayed where they were told, boats and lives could be lost, their own included. As flotilla commander, I assigned each of my boats to a specific post. Then I headed out to my own, at the far end of the bay. I'd warned Jill that she wouldn't be able to see much of the race from here, except on TV, but she insisted on coming along anyway.
Hey, you want to take a look?
Thanks, but what I can't see won't scare me.
You're that worried, huh? Ah, he's a fine driver, the best.
On 4 hours sleep?
minute before the first heat.
Go ahead, Mike. Turn it on. No reason for you not to see it. No reason for me either.
And coming up to the starting line for heat number 1 in this year's Rooster Tail Run from the outside in, it's Ron Stevens in Shandy Gaff, Bill Dord in Cyclone 2, Johnny Cleaver in Miss T. Reed, Sid Burns in Goodbye Charlie, and Ben Kenoy in Hurry Gal. Can't tell who's going to get away first. They're bunched so tight. Cyclone 2, maybe. No, it's Goodbye Charlie. Then Cyclone 2, Hurry Gal, Miss T. Reed, and Shandy Gaff. Cyclone 2 has a bone in her teeth, and she's running with it. She seems to have it all her way, and now... No, Miss T. Reed slashed ahead through the spray, and she's in the lead now. Cyclone 2 is pressing her hard, though, followed by Goodbye Charlie and Hurry Gal. They hold those positions going into the back stretch. Still anybody's race. Now, Shandy Gaff is moving up into contention. Yes, Ron Stevens is really pushing Shandy Gaff hard now. Cleaver has dropped back to number 2 position, but apparently he doesn't like it because he's moving up on the outside now. Yes, looks like the first sprint of the day. Johnny Cleaver in Miss T. Reed, veering to the outside as he tears through the 1,000-yard straightaway toward the south turn. Just what he did the other day in his record-breaking 107-mile-an-hour qualifying heat. He's going to hit that turn all out. He's sweeping wide, very wide, maybe too wide. Don't see how he can clear the patrol boat. Can't tell for sure, too much spray, but the others are knifing past with Goodbye Charlie leading, followed by Shandy Gaff. Red flag, they're stopping the race.
Do you think it could be Johnny?
An accident. There go the rockets, 2 red rockets, telling all the hydros to get off the course. We still don't know why or what boats are involved, perhaps some spectator craft. Our TV cameras have just picked up the rescue helicopter that the Coast Guard always maintains for such emergencies. We'll follow it to the accident scene if we possibly can. There it is. There, the 40-foot Coast Guard patrol boat that was on duty at the south turn. As you can see, it was hit hard, very hard, and it's sinking. And there's the boat that hit her, Johnny Cleaver's Miss T. Reed. He swept into that turn even wider than we thought. No sign of Johnny. He must have been hurled out when he hit. As far as we know, the patrol boat crew all got off safely. We're checking that. And just as soon as we... Hold it. There's a man coming out now through the gaping hole, a crewman. That's Ron Stevens of Shandy Gaff diving in to see what he can do to help anyone else in the water. There's someone down there, we can't make out who. There goes the frogman from the helicopter to team up with Stevens, and down comes the rescue basket. They're putting someone in it. It could be Johnny Cleaver, we don't know.
Do you think he's all right?
I'm sure he is. Hold on.
We kept the TV on, of course, as we headed across the bay. We still didn't know the identity of the man whom the helicopter had scooped up. We could only hope for the best.
The helicopter's landing now. Oh, if he isn't on it, Mike, I'll just...
Stop it, dear. Stop it.
There's the chopper now. She's landing, kicking up a cyclone of dust. They brought the crewman out, and they put him in an ambulance. Now a second man's getting out. We're not sure, but he looks like... Yes, it's Johnny Cleaver. Well, friends, that's good news.
Oh, he's all right. right. He's all right.
Hey, watch out,
Oh,
watch out.
he's killed.
You're gonna get us killed in a minute. Stop it. It's wonderful. I wonder how it happened.
I didn't think he was that tired.
No, neither did I.
I don't know what happened. I went into the turn the exact same way I did in the qualifying heat. Then bam, that was it. End of the line.
Johnny, it's got to be more than that.
Well, look, let's face it, the kid was dead tired.
I wasn't that tired. I didn't goof.
I'm not saying you did, John Boyd. But if you made a mistake, you
I didn't.
Johnny, the reports say that once you started swinging wide, you didn't try very hard to get back on course.
Is that what you think, Mike?
You tell me differently? If those reports stand, you've had it. You'll never race a hydroplane again.
Johnny, was there anything wrong with the boat?
I've said it all. Fred, let's go, huh?
Sure, John Boyd. Sure.
Do you think it was Johnny's fault?
No, it's hard to believe. He's too good a driver.
Didn't the Coast Guard find anything wrong with the boat?
Nope. Not the parts they examined. The parts they didn't examine might tell a different story. I think I'll go down there and see for myself right now.
Oh, thanks, Mike. I'll never be able to thank you. Neither will Johnny.
If I can find something to clear him.
Oh, I know you will. And thanks.
I wasn't able to start my search underwater as soon as I'd planned. The area was preempted by the Coast Guard to haul up the patrol boat that Johnny had rammed and sunk. I still didn't know if it had been his fault, but it sure looked that way. I didn't get clearance to dive till late in the afternoon. When I did get downstairs, I saw that I had my work cut out for me. Miss T-Ree had been doing close to 100 miles an hour when it hit that iron-hulled patrol boat. No wonder the debris was scattered far and wide. Finding any kind of a definite clue wasn't going to be quick or easy. The fact is, I didn't have any clear idea what I was looking for. I picked up whatever seemed to be worth further examination. I didn't think that I was making any particular headway. But somebody down there didn't agree with me. Another diver. He seemed to think that I'd found something very important, and he wanted it. It was up to me to convince him that he couldn't have it. The diver was Johnny Cleaver.
What's the big idea, Johnny?
Forget it.
Why'd you try to hijack me?
It's my business.
Why, Johnny? Why? Now, maybe Jill knows, huh? Or Fred. Johnny! Johnny!
was Johnny.
Mike, you're kidding.
Johnny wouldn't do a thing like that.
He did, Jill. You told him I was going out there, didn't you?
Yes.
Why didn't you tell him why?
Well, he knew that you were just trying to help him.
I didn't ask him to.
You still don't want to say why you tried to hijack me, huh?
Sorry.
Well, that accident was either your fault or your brother's. Now, you think that Fred pulled some kind of a boner with that boat? You trying to protect him?
Hey, what are you talking about? He checked her out himself this morning. The boat was perfect. John Boy wasn't trying to protect me.
And you're protecting yourself, huh? Well, I'm going back out there tomorrow morning. You better come up with an answer before I do.
This trip down, I found something right away. Trouble. This diver, whoever he was, knew exactly what he was searching for. It seemed that he'd spotted it. What's more, he was all set to take it away. Not if I could help it, though. Not before I found out what it was, myself. It was the rudder post, the rod that the rudder swings on. And one glance told me that it had been sabotaged. It added up just one way. Johnny Cleaver had tried to kill me, to keep me from exposing his brother's sabotage. But in that case, who was the diver who had rescued me? Whoever he was, he needed help. I gave it to him as fast as I could. The three of us started for the service together. My head was throbbing from the wallop I'd taken, and buzzing with questions. The answers gave me a real headache. It was Fred Cleaver who tried to kill me. He had sabotaged the boat to kill Johnny. Johnny had tried to cover up for him once. This time, though, he'd had to help me nail his brother. For Fred's own good.
If I gotta go to jail, okay. I got it coming. Well, I was out of my head, sure, but that's no excuse. Where is it?
I'm not a judge, Fred. Or a doctor.
Yeah, maybe that's what I need. A doctor.
You'll have the best, Fred, I promise you.
How do you figure it? I jobbed that rudder to kill you.
You didn't mean it, Fred. You couldn't.
You still don't get it. I've been hating you ever since you were born. Over 20 years, boy.
Why?
Because you were the baby. Because you got everything. Because Mom didn't even know I was alive. So I wanted you dead. Didn't you know that?
No. Do you still feel the same way, Fred?
I don't know. Tell you the truth, I don't feel anything now.
Come on, Fred. Let's go tell the Coast Guard, huh?
Yeah. See you, Johnny.
See you, Fred boy.
Hi, I'm Lloyd Bridges, inviting you to join us for another action-packed story of underwater adventure 1 week from today.